Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, Episode 49. You're thinking, wait, Nick, did you just do one of those yesterday? Yes, but that was the previous week's episode. This is today's episode. Yep. This one discussing the newest episode of the series, which is episode 1106. Trouble Occurs. Seek Dr. Vegapunk. And this I find interesting, this one. Excuse me, it's almost adapts the entirety of chapter 1084 except for pages 13 to 15. Thinking, really? Yeah. Like, all by a few pages. I was quite surprised about this. So, basically, the episode starts off with these government agents look like about to destroy the rocket tubes. When then they're all of a sudden they're fired by then all of a sudden lasers are fired upon them, and it's pacifistas, Mark III. And they of course surrender, of course they're on the hole, and then here's Azamaru, who's actually alive. The disposal is like he could have just been knocked unconscious. They never confirmed he died here. He just basically got knocked unconscious. So he's bandaged up, and he knows that there's stuff going on outside, and so he needs to make sure the Straw Hats able to leave with Vegapunk. So he says, Pacifist Mark III, activate. All 50 of them. I want you all to march out and make way clear for Straw Hats and Vegapunk to leave. And one of them says, Roger, and they leave. Of course, also the workers are very thankful for him for protecting them, so they would bandage his wounds up. And then we cut to the Straw Hats, where, of course, also on the floor, in this room they're in, where Luffy is exhausted as looking for Bonnie and Vegapunk, even Chopper. And they discuss basically how they kind of do find out where Bonnie is, but they don't know where Vegapunk is. And because of the fact that the lab was damaged, thanks to the Seraphim, the clones of Boa Hancock, which is referred to as S-Hawk, S-Snake, S-Bear, and S-Shark, which these four are clones of four former warlords, one who was actually there with them, and that being Jinbei. One's clone Jinbei, one's about Temakuma, Hawkeye Mihawk, and Boa Hancock. As for what they're up to, they don't really say what they're up to just yet, so York basically keeps falling back asleep. Atlas is fixed now. Yes, Atlas, one of the Vegapunk who damaged early on in the story, and she gets fixed. Oh yeah, good thing we have replacement parts. Now, I'm sure, I don't know if that she's going to basically survive this arc, but yeah, great to see her. But, oh, by the way, Bonnie's whole thing in this episode is that she kicks out Vegapunk out of the room. Yeah, Vegapunk for some reason also referred to as Stella. Probably because he's the main Vegapunk. Yeah, so basically they're going to various groups. We also have where apparently Saucy's changed clothes from her CP0 outfit to her SGC outfit. SSG, the science group. And of course also Zora's got changed too. And the Zora's coat that he wears reminds me of the coat he picked up in Punk Hazard. And of course we see where Brooks' outfit, he wears basically a hat that fits him, which is a football helmet. I find that to be quite hilarious. So all sorts of various groups looking for him. Sassi, of course, is working with Jinbei. And of course, Sanji goes along with Moss. And of course, Zora has to stay there because, well, who will find him? Because, yeah, the recurring joke with Zora is that he's a poor sense of direction. So I go looking for him. And excuse me, of course they have communication issues, so They have one of their satellites, one who's a robot. Not Edison, the big one. What's his name here? Um, Pythagoras. Yes, and York. She of course has to be woken up by Lilith. Yeah. And of course, also like, and then pretty much the episode ends with basically all them searching out the various areas. Oh, the episode ends quite interestingly with this, where we cut to Morgan's newspaper, like is business when it's floated by birds now, because the Wargun found where his location was. So they come with an interesting story because Vegapunk is beloved by the world. So he puts out a story: Emperor Straw Hat Luffy has kidnapped Vegapunk. Put it out there, and then of course, a beautiful woman basically says to him, "You're a complete idiot. That is so wrong. Like, who do you criticize me? Princess Vivi. Yes, she is here, along with Warpole." Now, those of you thinking, wait, she was missing. How did she get here? They do explain that. Don't worry. They're probably going to get to that really soon. Because that takes up about 5 or 6 chapters. That was really good. It was more like a follow-up to Reverie arc. I'm surprised they didn't call it Reverie Part 2. Because literally it's a flashback to the Reverie. Because the Reverie had a very weird cliffhanger, where it just stopped and then went straight to Wano. That flashback picked up right where that arc left off with. Yep. So, great. And of course we have a little thing about Boss Morgan's. I believe, I remember correctly, he first showed up, I believe, during Whole Cake, if I remember correctly. Yes, I believe it was, he showed up there. I'm thinking it was Whole Cake he first showed up in. I guess first actual appearance was during Whole Cake. Yeah, it was during Whole Cake, which is interesting. The fact that Whole Cake was basically his debut appearance. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, we have one debut here. Basically a girl who fangirls over Vivi. Yeah, but good episode. Loved it. Cannot wait for the next episode. Now, is it airing next week? Yes, it is. So I'll find out about the episode next week. Before we end this video here, we have to talk about the newest chapter of the manga. That being 1115 Pieces of a Continent. And oh boy, that actually is a little title here. The cover image is Ogre Child Yamato Golden Harvest Circuit Pilgrimage, Volume 5, Hidori and Otaku packing me a bento lunch. Yes, first time we see, basically see Himori, Momo's sister, and Lori since Wano. And speaking of Wano, we're back in Wano! Yes! I'm like, really? Yeah, we had just left Wano, and now we're back here for 2 panels. We see Momo eating some dumplings, and of course we see, in the background, we see Kinemon, Shinobu, and Otama. And then we see, I kid you not, we see the return of the fake Straw Hat crew. Yes. Well, mostly it's the fake Luffy. For the first time since Return to Sabaody, which was the arc that started out the post-time skip stuff. This is the first time he showed up since then. Apparently he's held at base G4. So, Vegapunk reveals that, reading from Poneglyphs, that apparently Joy Boy was from this other place. And apparently all the islands going around the world He reveals that they originally were one continent. What continent they were, he doesn't say that. That the reason why they were split up was because of a man-made disaster. It wasn't natural, it was man-made. And of course, they see that Imru may have been responsible for it. And of course, there's always mention about the ancient weapons. The fact also the sea level might be going up to 200 meters, which is basically as high as a mountain. And we see apparently the enemy is the world government. Of course, Navy. Everybody's reaction. We see one of the elders seeing the seeing this, and we see Zope. We see the minx. We see Carrot in her Duke armor. Basically, because she's the leader of the Dukedom now. This is her in her attire. Yeah, making her first appearance at the end of Wano, which I still think was a mistake for her to go back to the minx because she's an absolute great character. Why not continue her story with the Straw Hats after Wano wrapped up? Nope, let's have her go back to the minx for reasons. You could have kept them on board because she was an absolute great character. I'm sure a lot of fans who basically watch the anime would love to see her stay, but nope. Got back to the minx because Leah's the one that's staying in Wano. And then we see, oh my gosh, Captain Foxy. First time now in terms of the manga, this is the first time since his story arc, which came just before basically they met Admiral Kazu, the one who basically frees and stuff. That was the last time we've seen the manga. In terms of the anime, he was seen in a 2-part story involving a resort. It was a filler story. That was the last time he was seen. Now, he's almost just a surprise seeing as the fake Straw Hat crew. And, of course, there was also with Saucy, where basically Kaku was telling her to leave. Because probably she needs to live. Kaku probably, for him, it doesn't matter if he lives or dies. But Saucy needs to live because she's one of the satellites. So they have to hurry up and get, like, well, still anymore. Who to live for? Yeah, and of course where Bonnie is, like, saved by Frankie, where I think it's one of the elders basically trying to take him out. And of course, slicing the mast of one of the ships. And of course, basically the elders trying to take on the giants. And of course, like, a lot of the lab was destroyed. And we see the Seraphim basically witnessing it, the four of them, the war government agents. Everybody's all scattered about. We see training at Zoro's home island dojo. There's a brief scene here. I'm not sure where this island is. They show here before they show Zoro's island. Yeah, there's a panel that came right afterwards that you can't really tell exactly where this is set. The bottom one, yeah, that's Zoro's island, and of course mention the whole thing. And of course there's like more underwater. We see Sabo in the Revolutionary Army. Of course, I was shocked to hear about the whole thing about that. And then we see someone named Nekajiro. Oh, this is Nami's village. Yes, this is from Nami's village, which is the first time in a while they've been saying. I think the last time they showed up was probably when Nami's poster first showed up, her first wanted poster. And then we see the Cherry Blossom Kingdom. Yeah, then it's people laughing. Can't tell with that one. It could be one of the Marine bases. Yep. Yeah, of course, VV's this intensely. And then the chapter ends after seeing the three of the elders, and then seeing Imu, the ruler of the world. That apparently, aside from the 5 elders, the only other person who knows about him who has seen him is Sabo. Sabo is the only person who's seen him. It was suggested this person might be the former queen of the Alabasta Kingdom. And according to Imu, not exactly the case. And, of course, Iran Cop basically theorized it might be this other person that he may have heard of. Which, I love that portion of this arc when they explore possibly who Imu possibly is. Because he just randomly shows up in the Reverie arc like, oh, there's this giant being who has got a giant straw hat, is so mysterious. Is so mysterious. I'm definitely looking forward to exactly what happens next. Now, there is a new chapter next week, which thank you for that. But not much to say. The chapter itself I got 10 out of 10 because it was really, really good. We're advancing the story really well. Okay, so that's a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Now, I'm going to go, and when I come back, I'm going to go ahead and watch Case Closed next. Okay, next view. Bye.